We all know that one guy. The one who kind of just exists, but is nice to everyone around him. Meet Jason. He's just the nicest boy you'll ever meet. He's always helping people out, and many people respect and love him for that. It sounds like Jason has the perfect life, but guess again. Sometimes the world can be cruel to our friend, and sometimes these events can take a very drastic toll on him. This is a day in the life of Jason Jones. Rays of sunshine entered through the windows of Jason's bedroom as dawn broke that morning. The hot sun melted down his window and hit Jason's blonde hair. Jason fluttered his eyes open to face the source of light that had quite rudely interrupted his dreams. He then realised it was morning. Already, the smell of hot buttered toast was wafting itself to his room and coaxing him out of his bed. Picking up his freshly ironed clothes, he made his way to the bathroom. A little later, after having his breakfast and organising his school bag, Jason ran to the bus stop. Trees, bushes and people walking whizzed by Jason as blurs as he finally reached the bus stop just as the number 45 pulled up. Previous days he had not been so lucky and had to be driven by his groggy and begrudged father, so he was happy to have caught the bus. Jason always sat in the same seat with the same friend, Norman. Jason sat beside his dearest friend and Norman began to speak. "Hey Jay," he said, "how are you?" Jason smiled at Norman. "Yeah, I'm good." "Ready for maths?" Norman groaned. "I know how many beans make 5, Jason, but I don't understand where these brackets came from." Norman produced a crumpled dog-eared sheet from his Doctor Who backpack. Half of the questions weren't done. Jason smiled and pulled a pen from his breast pocket. "Don't worry, Norm," he said. "We can do it together right now, and I'll help you." Norman smiled. He valued his friendship with Jason, because Jason always helped. At last, the bus finished its long odyssey and had finally reached the school. The students piled out of the bus and began to fill the multicoloured playground before the bell rang. Jason always used this time to make sure he had everything on him. Calculator, check. Pencils, check. Lunchbox. How could I miss it? Pens? Wait, where are my pens? Oh yes, in my pocket. Jason sighed in relief. He did have everything. After several hours of science and English, the bell rang out, and Jason went off to lunch. Just then he saw Diana. Jason looked up to Diana. She had a sort of swagger and coolness that Jason thought he liked, and not to mention that she had pulled him out of a sticky situation or two in the past. Jason ran up to her. "Hi," said Jason cheerfully. Diana looked down over to Jason and allowed a small smile to creep up for a fraction of a second.
"Oh, hi.
"Hello. What you doing?"
Heading to lunch."
Nice, nice.
"Yeah."
"Well, see you around."
"Yeah, same."
Jason then made his way to the lunch hall and found the cool kids. Jason was very lucky to be friends with the cool kids, but calling them friends was a bit of a stretch. They used to be nice to Jason, when they weren't as cool. But as time went on and as they gained their reputation, Jason began to feel like his friendship with the cool kids only existed because of some moral obligation on their part. "Hello everyone," said Jason cheerily.
"Oh my gosh, Dorothy, did you see Steve?"
How are you all today?" asked Jason.
"Oh, Jessica, he's so fit."
"Did any of you guys do anything fun yesterday?" "Oh my gosh, do you girls only talk about boys, fam? Like, jeez." "Oh, hi Jason." "Hi Richard, how are you?"
"Shut up, Richard, you wish you were as fit as Steve."
Jason knew where he wasn't wanted. You can imagine how terribly isolating being ignored can be. So he slunk away without anyone at the table noticing. Wiping his eyes, he went to eat at a solitary table, by himself, alone, like always. At last came the dreaded maths class for the last period of the day. Jason liked maths. He sometimes thought it was like solving a mystery, albeit a mystery with numbers. Anyhow, he was also in great company in his maths class. "Alright, class!" announced Mr. Graham. "Get out your calculators, please!" Jason had come prepared for this, and pulled out his calculator. He was just about to crack a joke to Sally when he saw the frantic expression on her face. "Are you okay, Sally?" asked Jason.
"Hi. I think I forgot my calculator,"
said Sally, becoming more agitated. Jason smiled and pushed his towards Sally. We can share mine if you like. Sally took a sigh of relief and smiled.
Thank you, Jason.
Sally valued her friendship with Jason, because Jason always helped. Soon the bell rang, and Sally returned Jason's calculator thanking him. Jason decided that he was going to walk home today. He didn't usually walk home, but today he thought it'd help him clear his head. He was still upset at what happened at lunch and how Diana was starting to feel distant and cold towards him. Sometimes when you or I think of sad things, we tend to think of more sad things, which makes us even sadder. Jason's mum called this spiralling, and Jason began to spiral. All the negative thoughts began to fill his mind. You aren't good enough. No one cares if you're nice to them, you're a pushover. They'll never pay you back. You're wasting your time. With each passing thought, Jason's head began to sink lower and lower, until at last he made it home. He put his hand on the doorknob and looked up at the opposite street. There, sitting in the fluorescent glow of a street lamp, was a black dog with piercing red eyes that looked into Jason's very soul. He had seen this dog before, and remembered being startled by it the first time, but now he had become numb to its existence. Jason looked away, sighed, and went into the house. While he was doing his homework, he spiraled. Eating dinner, he spiraled. Playing his favourite video game, he spiraled. He looked in his chest of drawers and rummaged around for something. Something he'd kept secret from his parents for a while now. He found it. I'll do it tomorrow, he thought. He put the thing into his bag and looked out the window. The black dog was still there, still staring. Jason went to bed and spiraled himself to sleep. The next day, Jason began to walk from the bus into school like always, with his head bowed. Just then, Sally and Norman walked up to Jason with wide grins on their faces, which dissolved when they saw Jason's bowed posture. Hey, are you okay? Asked Norman. Jason raised his head and forced a smile. Yeah. What's up? The pair looked at each other, but then Sally grinned.
Can you come to the treehouse after school, please? We have something we want to show you.
Jason shut up. He'd never been invited anywhere. He usually did the inviting. Okay, Jason replied. Cool, see you then. The pair made their way to their classes, and Jason was left with a lot to think about. He was unaware of the coarse, ropey thing he had stowed away in his backpack. They probably want to show me something, he thought. I'll check it out, and then I'll do it. After a long and grueling day of school, in which Jason ruminated over the surprise Norman and Sally had in store for him, the bell finally rang, and Jason began to head to the treehouse that he and Norman had built all those summers ago. He wondered what Sally and Norman wanted to show him. A new video game? Did they build another Lego sculpture? Whatever it was, Jason grew curiouser and curiouser. Before Jason got to the house, he spotted the black dog from the corner of his eye once more. But this time, his eyes weren't a piercing red, but now a shining blue. No one on the street seemed to notice it, but they never did in the first place. I'm just gonna check this thing out, and then I'll do it, Jason thought, as if talking to the black dog, and he pushed past the bushes into the park. When he finally made it to the treehouse, Jason was surprised. There, stood outside, were all his friends. Norman, Sally, Bob, Pete, John and Paul. Even Diana showed up. Norman and Sally walked up to him and held out a wrapped gift.
We realise that you always help us out of our problems, but you never get anything in return,
smiled Sally. So we decided to chip in and have a little get together to show our appreciation for you, said Norman. Here you go. We got you this. Jason held the gift and unwrapped it. It was a sketch pad with a customised cover which showed a picture that Jason had taken when he, Norman, Sally and their mutual friend Jody had gone bowling. Jason looked up to his friends with glassy eyes. Sally and Norman were smiling ear to ear, as were Bob, Pete, John and Paul, but the best of all was when he looked over to Diana. His hero and role model was sincerely smiling at him for the first time and giving him a thumbs up. Now Jason had finally gotten what he wanted. Validation. Could he really use the long knotted thing that was at this moment pressed against his back to kill himself now? With that, Jason collapsed to his knees and began to cry. Having cried at being given a gift, Jason owed an explanation to his friends about all the things that were going wrong in his life. He told them about how Jessica, Dorothy and Richard had ignored him and his spiraling problem. He even told them about his plan, and showed them the noose he was going to use that he had tucked away in his bag. Thankfully, his friends were very understanding. "Don't worry about them lot, Jay," bellowed Bob. "They're just jealous of how cool we are. They want to be us." Everyone laughed.
Also, Jay, we're your friends. If you're ever worried or sad or anything at all, you can talk to us.
Said Sally. Jason smiled at his friends. They were so helpful and kind. "Thank you." Norman smiled. "Anytime, bro,"
Hey guys,
shouted Diana.
let's all spin Bob around on the roundabout.
"How about we don't?" bellowed Bob.
How about the last one there gets spun around?
Suggested Sally. Their friends smiled at each other and ran towards the play park. It was at this moment that Jason realised that he wasn't alone. Jason looked up and saw the black dog one more time before he watched it fade into the nothingness, smiling. "Hey!" bellowed Jason as he caught up to Sally and Norman. "Wait for me!" Jason valued his friendship with all his friends because they always helped, and they'd make sure that he'd get the help he needed. At that very moment, running alongside his friends for the first time in a long time, Jason knew with 100% certainty that everything was going to be alright.